Hello students, I hope you all are well. Today we'll start with syllabus related to PUC second year political science. Coming to the first unit, origin and growth of Indian political system. Second unit, elections and party system in India. Third unit, administrative machinery in India. Fourth unit, social movements and their political implications. Fifth unit, nation building and challenges to Indian democracy. Sixth unit, emerging trends of Indian politics. Seventh one, contemporary political trends. Eighth unit, international relations and politics. Last unit furnishes India's foreign policy. Totally 9 units are there this year. Then begin with first unit, that is origin and growth of Indian political system, followed by freedom struggle. The Indian freedom struggle was the greatest mass movement in world history. It was a non-violent revolution. The leaders like Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, M.K. Gandhi, Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar, Savarkar, Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, B.R. Ambedkar, among many, possessed highest moral standards, and they mobilized millions of people into political action who devoted their entire lives for the moment. So it furnishes this concept, brings to the notice of the political student the nature, the origin of the Indian political system. The origin relates back to its own historical process. After passing all the stages only, or the efforts made by all these thinkers itself created in the minds of the people to revolt against or to take part in the moment. The moment was original, innovative, and democratic in character. The ideals of national movement, they stood for the main aim of raising the voices or taking the part in the movement to uphold popular sovereignty, establishment of representative government, and providing the liberties and bringing the secularism and foreign policy. Not only the establishment of all these political concepts in India, apart from that, they opposed fascism, imperialism, and they want to remove all the social evils existed in India, and to bring the independent India was the aim of all the political thinkers. The ideals of national movement are brought in the constitution and incorporated in the programs and policies of government and political parties. If we go through the Indian constitution, we come across all these ideals laid down by the political thinkers: secularism, republican form of the government, sovereign, all we get in the Indian constitution. So after getting the Indian independence, that day was immemorable, rejoicing because they got freedom from all kinds of exploitation. There was a mass exodus of people across borders, large scale. The moment when India discovered herself again, it opened up opportunities and many challenges as well. After getting the Indian independence, political leaders having the ideas in their own mind to build their own political system by removal of all the problems existed in the field of agricultural, industrial, economic, and removal of inequalities existed in India. So, for removal of all those problems, they had the task of territorial and administrative integration of India. Second one, bringing responsible and representative democracy and nation building concept. With the help of these three tasks, they want to build their own political system. So this furnishes the ideals of the thinkers towards the establishment of the political system in India. So the factors responsible for the origin of the Indian political system, it relates back to the British rule. The British government had granted its recognition and royal charter to the East India Company in 1600. It captured political power in India after the Battle of Plassey in 1757. Company had ruled India from 1757 to 1858. This concept realizes the Britishers' intervention in India and establishing their own power by establishing company from 1757 to 1858. During that, the political system was incorporated corruption, exploitation, discrimination. So, to overcome the British rule, revolution started. One of the significant contribution gave the way for revolting against the British rule, that is Sepoy Mutiny, took place in 1857, which led to the transfer of power to the British Crown in 1858. Some historians have described Mutiny as the first war of Indian independence. So the outcome of this mutiny, the establishment of the Indian National Congress in 1885, is one of the notable events that successfully led the people and groups with different ideologies, horticultured people, aspirations, and pressurized the British to meet the demands for independence. The British responded to the demands with the reforms initiated various acts. The Morley Minto reforms of 1909, the Montego Chelmsford report of 1919, the Government of India Act 1935, the Indian Independence Act of 1947 are important in the process of evolution of Constitution of India. So these all are the factors contributed towards building Indian political system or gave the way for the origin of the Indian Constitution. All these acts contributed towards the establishment of the Indian political system. In that, the first one, the Indian Council Act of 1909, the main object of this act, Morley Minto reforms, as explained by the Under Secretary of State for India, was to widen the basis and expand the functions of the Government of India and to give further opportunities to the native elements of Indian society to take part in the work of government. So the main aim, the purpose or the object of this act to vest the power in the hands of the people of India and to provide or create the opportunities for the people of India to take part in the organization or administration and all. The provisions of this act increased the strength of provincial legislative council and introduced the communal representation through separate electorate for Muslims. It also allowed members to take part in the budget proceedings and all. So these all are the outcome of Act of 1909. Government of India Act 1919. The Act of 1909 failed to satisfy the aspirations of the nationalists. The Indian National Congress became more active and started campaign for home rule. In response to the demands of Indians, a declaration was made by His Majesty's government. It granted the increasing association of Indians in every branch of administration and the gradual development of self-governing institutions, keeping in view the progressive realization of responsible government in British India as an integral part of the British Empire. The Government of India Act 1919 came into existence to remove the drawbacks existed in the Indian Council of Act 1909. So they failed to keep the promise to provide the opportunities to the people of India that itself gave the way for the nationalists to raise their voices against the British rule and to establish their rule in India. In response, the, in response to the demands of the Indians, a declaration was made by His Majesty's government. This declaration became the preamble of the Act, indicating the intention of the British to establish responsible government in India. This act is also known as Montego-Chelmsford Report. This act provided for bicameralism at the center, establishment of two legislative organizations, one center and state. It was called as a Central Legislative Assembly and the Council of the States. This act itself gave the way for origin of bicameral system in India. At provincial level, unicameralism was adopted. At the center, bicameralism. At the state level, provincial level, that is the establishment of unicameralism was adopted. According to this act, provisional subjects were divided into reserved and transferred subject. Apart from that, subjects were incorporated by giving the meaning of reserved and transferred. Apart from that, the diarchy or the establishment of the dual government was introduced. These all are the major outcome of the Act of 1919. First one, establishment of bicameralism at the central level, state level, unicameralism, then establishment of dual government and subjects, introduction of the subject like reserved and transferred subject. The former means the reserved subjects kept in the hands of the executive councillors and the latter one, that is the transfer subject, entrusted to the Indians. It allowed Indians participation in the administration. So this way here, Act of 1909 unable to vest the power in the hands of the Indians. To that effect, Act of 1919 itself vests the power in the hands of the people of India under the head of transferred subject and all. So this way here, gradually the people of India started taking the part in the administration by establishing their own political administration and all. To that effect, the Government of India Act 1935 came into existence. The reforms of 1919 failed to fulfill the aspiration of the people, whatever they have laid down, or the outcome of the Act 1919 Act, unable to implement. To that effect, the Government of India Act 1935 came into existence. The Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi started agitation for Swaraj to be attained with the help of non-cooperation and all. Gandhiji laid down the concept of the Swaraj, and that Swaraj to be attained with the help of non-cooperation movement and all. As per the Government of India Act 1999, statutory commission was to be appointed at the expiration of 10 years after the passing of the act and all. So terms and conditions were laid down in the act according to that, for the purpose of inquiring into the working of the system and the development of representative institutions in India, with a view to extend, modify, or to restrict the degree of responsible government then existing in India. The British government appointed the statutory commission in 1927 to inquire into the report of 1919. So the drawbacks existed in the 1919 Act. So commission was appointed to gather the information towards the fulfilling the Act of 1919. Next session will continue with the remaining part of Government of India Act of 1935, its provisions, its objects, its purpose. Thank you.